Getting good pictures at night with your phone can be tricky. Can GCam do better than your stock camera app? All of these shots were taken on the Poco F3, and I've included waveforms for each image so you can see what's happening a little bit better. The stock Poco camera wins this first shot. The color's pretty close to reality, and it's much more vibrant compared to GCam's image. This is a hard shot to get right, and neither camera really does, but at least you do have details in the stock camera shadows near the bottom of the frame underneath the tree? I guess that's a tree, maybe a shrub, who knows. This GCam's always a bit cooler than the stock camera, and the Hulk-sized guitar shot is a good example of that. GCam blows out the highlights in this image, which is a trend throughout this comparison, but it does manage to retain more detail in the shadows this time around, particularly in the roof. Once again, GCam can't handle the lights in the ceiling of this gazebo structure, but I feel like the stock camera over-sharpened this time, and it seems less natural. Here's a Christmas tree, and the stock camera is considerably more crisp, but more importantly, check out the blue and red oversized musical levitating glowing ornaments. The stock camera performs well here, but GCam just outputs an oversaturated mush. This wasn't a night shot, just the unfinished stairwell at the hotel, which made me feel like I was in the zombie apocalypse, and this was my escape plan in case of the aforementioned zombie apocalypse. I was gonna go up the ladder. For this lamp, GCam continues its general trend of letting black parts of the image be totally black and also blowing out the highlights. But again, the stock camera looks a bit too over-processed. For this other gazebo image, both cameras are unnaturally blue, but the stock camera is still better exposed. My selfie is terrible on both cameras, unusably grainy on the GCam, and ridiculously over-smoothed on the stock camera. And while I appreciate looking 10 years younger in the face, I'm not sure why my shoulders also needed that same youthful smoothing. I mean, who's asking for younger looking shoulders? Not me, that's who. But since there is an actual beautify setting in the Poco Camera app for shoulders, I guess some people do want that. Another indoor gazebo thing, and a situation where both cameras deliver shots that are more similar than different. More crazy blue lighting, but the stock camera does do an overall better job. This water shot was interesting, since both cameras really struggled, with the stock becoming very grainy and GCam quite mushy. How about this giant flower tree? I'll give the win to GCam here because of how unnatural the stock camera turned out, even if the lighting in the shadows is significantly better. Again with the blue hanging lights, but this time the stock camera doesn't quite control those highlights. If this comparison's been helpful so far, please give it a like. Thank you for that. The stock Poco camera beats GCam easily with these pink flowers. The stock camera doesn't exactly know how to handle this green, and the GCam does, but the rest of GCam's image is far too dark. For this magical glowing polar bear shot, GCam once again blows out the highlights, and just barely retains more detail in the shadows than the otherwise pleasing stock camera shot. The fountain again looks more natural with GCam. Lastly, another shot with the blue and red oversized levitating musical glowing ornaments. And while the stock camera is closer to properly exposing the music note, the smaller lights on the rings are just a blurry mess. I used a GCam port from developer BSG with the Ironheart XML for this video. There are lots of other Google camera ports out there for the Poco F3, but this one's been very stable and reliable. Link in the description below. I would say that my original conclusion from a few months ago, that the F3 stock Poco camera beats GCam, is still true, especially for night shots. Thanks for watching. If you have a question, please leave a comment below, and I will answer it perfectly, probably.